Welcome to another episode of Joystick Maverick, episode 5. I'm Ernie Hawkins, he is Dominic Irvin, and we are your hosts. We made it to a handful, buddy. We did it.
One hand.
A whole handful.
We made it.
I mean, it's like quitting cigarettes. Like day 5, is it? It's like hard. I don't know. But I think we made it through the first handful of episodes. The next 25 handfuls are going to be easy, right?
Super easy.
Let's do it. All right, so this week we're going to kick off things, hopefully a little bit better video feed for you watching along at home, aka just Mahaffey. But I really hope he enjoys it.
He likes when we say his name.
Oh, does he? We do it just for you, buddy. We really are just only talking to you this whole show.
That's right. He told me the last day he was talking to me, he said that he was actually responding to us when we were talking.
Nice.
So and then like halfway through, he was like, I'm not talking to them. I'm literally just listening to them talk.
We should start filling in gaps in our conversation just to see if he can add his own. And then what was the Doctor Who episode? I think it's Don't Blink, where they're like, it's just the DVD extras and there's just half a conversation and then they match up with real. That's great stuff.
Just be like, what do you think about this, Mike?
That's a really interesting opinion. You put a lot of thought into that.
You really did.
You sound soberer than usual. You know, that kind of stuff. Just, man, you can't be saying that. What year is it? I digress. This week's first segment, as just like every week's first segment, is the state of gaming. We got some big ones coming up. I think, Dom, you're probably excited. I know I'm excited. I used to play this back in the day with my buddy JJ, Jules, Randy. Well, they used to play. I used to watch. I wasn't most liked kid in that group. Whatever, not a big deal. But Pokemon SNAP's coming out. It's this Friday, right? What's today? The 30th.
Yeah, Friday, the 30th. Yeah, yep. That's it.
So it looks pretty much identical to the original. Well, I say identical. It's Pokemon SNAP. What is it? Last time I played the game, it was just basically floating down a river. It seems like every single world had a river in it, and you were able to somehow get pictures and snaps or like just pictures of Pokemon, and it would rate, your composition and what they were doing, and if you really kind of caught them in that right moment. And I used to be super frustrated trying to get a perfect picture of like Pikachu or whatever it was. And I would, I think it was like a star rating, and you would always just barely miss that third star, and it was like shit, man, or whatever it was, 5 stars. I'm like, what do I gotta do to like get? Do I have to put them in like the bottom left lower thirds, or like do they have to be like taking a shit? Like, what is the magic formula? And we could never figure it out. This is, I think, 1999, if I'm reading the information right. So this is way before really being able to look that shit up. But yeah, man, it's 22 years old. That's crazy. And here we are.
22 years.
It's new. I'm happy that Nintendo decided to go the route of like just calling it new Pokemon Snap, as if like people are still playing that old one really religiously, and like it didn't get that 5th star on that Pikachu or that Dotrio or whatever it was. But here we are 22 years later, brand new version, not Pokemon Snap 2, but new Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, and it's for the Switch. Obviously, we've had, this was 22 years ago. I think the original Pokemon Snap was up to gold and silver, maybe. Actually, it may have been just red, blue, and green.
1989
for Nintendo 64. Yeah, so since 22 years, we've had a million Pokemon games since then. I think we're up to like 750 Pokemon from the original 150. They've added a whole lot there.
Jesus,
I love the original Pokemon Snap. Yeah, it's insane. It might even be more than that. I think 750 was the last time I looked at it. I love the original Pokemon Snap a whole lot. It's one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games, and you're totally right. It's like you're on a river or you're in a cave and you're trying to capture pictures of these Pokemon in weird poses or anything like that. So
yeah,
the Switch being the Switch has had a myriad of games over the last couple of years. And we just got Pokemon Sword and Shield last year, which, a little bit polarizing. People liked it, people didn't like it. They were hoping
in
for
what
more
way?
like a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild style.
Okay.
So the
Now,
biggest thing was
is
the
that
national dex. So like,
okay.
yeah, the national dex being that like in the previous Pokemon games, you could essentially capture every Pokemon, or you could trade to get every Pokemon. And in Sword and Shield, they really pared that down. They said it was due to resourcing on the Nintendo Switch. They were trying to make sure that all the animations were nice and crisp, and the way that the game looked was crisp. But when it came to production and we actually saw it, it didn't really line up to what they were saying, and a lot of people were really upset about the national dex being taken out of the game. Me, I could care less. I couldn't care less. I don't think I would ever caught all 750. And honestly, I played through a couple of hours of Sword, beat the first gym or maybe even the second gym, and it kind of fell off for me. But Pokemon Snap is like that. It keeps me engaged for a short amount of time, and you can play that game in bursts because it's very linear. You have like that one level that you go through, and you're trying to capture everything, and you can like throw treats and all that stuff to get them to play around. So I'm stoked. I haven't played my Switch in a while. I started playing Breath of the Wild a little bit last year, but I haven't really touched it since Animal Crossing came at the start of the pandemic. So I'm excited to get back into this,
man. I'm interested to see how this goes, especially because I know Pokemon Legends with Arceus was kind of announced, and I think this is the new RPG, the like massive like world player that's supposed to be closer to Breath of the Wild, right? At least from what I remember. Yeah. So hopefully that'll be good. But I mean, this is supposed to be kind of I think to your point, more of a linear. Anybody can play, and just pick it up as they want to. Very, very much so, the way it was back in the day. So I'm excited to see how this goes. But I really think this is, again, just kind of a filler until we get this open world kind of experience. But I mean,
it's definitely
this cash
we're
makes
definitely
money,
due
man.
for
or this cow makes money.
Does.
Cash cow all day.
Yeah, Pokemon, you'll always sell, no matter what it is.
To give you like a frame of reference, the last time I even did anything with Pokemon was probably around this. So like the 150 or whatever, 151, and from you if it was in there. I didn't. I mean, look, we got a guy Frank Lloyd Wright, like Butterfly over here on the left. Like I didn't know that existed. And then there's one for girls. Like I don't. And then there's a blue one. All of these things are just like fever dreams of just people on drugs, LSD, monkeys, and stuff like that. So. Anyway, I mean, again, 420 was just last week. Here we are, another game that's full of color and wonder. I mean, if you've got the right headphones and things are chirping and tweeting and all around your head, you're going to have a great experience. But next up on our list, this next game, let me see. The next game is actually Outriders. So this I have not played. I think you mentioned that you have played. This came out on April 1st, not a joke. And the videos and the captions, it seems pretty entertaining. The costume work here looks kind of nice, but I don't really know too much about it.
So Outriders is essentially if you took Destiny 2 and Gears of War and you kind of made them one game. It's a third-person action they call looter shooter, where you go through levels and you play with a team. A fire team or a squad. And you go in and you beat a bunch of stuff, and then you gather loot and you upgrade your character, kind of reminiscent of how MMORPGs work.
Right.
I tried Outriders. It wasn't for me, to be honest. I think that this game is missing a big component, which is the PvP, the player versus player aspect of it, which is what Destiny has. And whether you love or hate Destiny, I've put 3,000 hours into Destiny 1 and 2.
Oh my God.
Over the last however many years. It's insane. I play that game more than any other game that I've ever played. Even more than Warcraft when I was playing Warcraft almost competitively. And
that's
Outriders
nuts.
is cool. It's insane. I mean, I was just playing Destiny before we started recording, which is insane. And
do that 3 more times and you've got like a college degree. Was it 10,000 hours? Like holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah. I've wasted a lot of time in that game. But I've had friends that play Outriders that really like it. It's big in the streamer community right now. Like I say, it's big, but it kind of reminded me of Anthem when Anthem came out by EA and BioWare, where they hyped it up, hyped it up, hyped it up, hyped it up. It came out, a bunch of streamers streamed it, and then it kind of fell off because there wasn't really much left to do after a certain amount of time. And then, I mean, as of right now, Anthem is not even a game anymore. But Outriders is cool. I would say it's worth checking out. It's on Game Pass, I'm fairly certain, for Xbox. So you can go in and download it for Xbox. I played it on Xbox One. I don't have a Series S or a Series X yet, but I was playing it on Xbox One, and it looked nice, and it played well. The gunplay is a little clunky. It reminds me, like I said, of Gears of War. It's that over the shoulder third person kind of run and gun style of a game,
right?
But it runs beautifully on a PC, from what I've gathered. I might download it on my PC because I have like we were talking about before we started, I rebuilt my PC this weekend. With some upgrades, and it needs something to play other than Destiny, because again, I have Destiny on I own Destiny on every console. I have it on Xbox, I have it on PlayStation, I have it on PC. The only thing I don't have it on is Stadia, because I don't have Stadia. But
that actually, I think a good question for me is, how do you feel about the idea that you're forced to buy the same exact fucking game on all those different platforms? Like, you think it's kind of like a bullshit move? I mean, granted, I realize, I realize you can buy a system, you buy your community, really, that's what you're buying, your ecosystem, and you buy a game, but like, you're buying it 3 different times, and I hate it as much as having once bought a VHS of Terminator 2, then a DVD of Terminator 2, and then I own it on iTunes. Like, fuck me. It's the same movie. Just give me the movie in all of its forms. Or give me the game in all of its forms.
What sucks is that Destiny's now going cross-play. So, like, it doesn't matter that I own the game on 3 different consoles or 3 different platforms, because now I'll be able to play with whoever I want to play with. But that was the thing from before. Was I owned the game on PlayStation 4, and then all of my friends moved to PC, because at PC you could play it, uncapped frames, 1440p, you know, the PvP aspect was crazy, mouse and keyboard, all of that, and everybody went to PS4, or went to PC when PS4 was still a thing, and then PS5 came out. They did 60 frames per second locked, 120 hertz at 4K in PvP for Destiny, and then everybody went to PS5. Like, we've had this migration where we went PS4, PC, PS5, and now we're all on PS5 again. But,
you guys are definitely on the hamster wheel, though, and that makes total sense why it continues to happen. You go where your friends are. I mean, it's the same way when I was living with a Boston Red Sox fan. I watched a lot of those games because that's where my friend was doing. But here I am still years later, not a Sox fan.
With the Yankees hat.
I mean, that's right. For those listening on the podcast, I was holding a Yankees hat up, so not a Sox fan. But I mean, I guess it does make sense, and you paid by buying those games on all those platforms. You paid for the engineer who made it cross-platform playable. So thanks to you, Dom. This is your fault.
Yeah.
Thanks
to me. Right. Yeah. It's my
fault.
I'm an enabler. Don't get me wrong. I'm the biggest enabler when it comes to microtransactions and shit. I buy into all of that.
Hey, man. So, the word hero gets thrown around a lot. You, buddy. You're a hero.
I pretty much fund the damn Eververse in Destiny, man, because I just buy everything. Everybody's like, oh, man, they're putting everything in the store for silver, and silver is the virtual currency that you can buy with the real currency, and everybody gets pissed off about it. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I can buy it. I'm buying it.
Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Oh, Mahaffey, what do you think about that?
Put hundreds of... Fair point.
Well
fair
said.
Point,
well
Mike.
said. Yeah.
It's gonna get old very quick, I guarantee.
I know, he's gonna be so annoyed. It's old for everybody listening.
He's gonna be
AKA just Mahaffey.
Yeah.
But no, I think this kind of rolls into it's a good segue. You just talked about playing, with your friends. We talked about doing things with your friends. So now I don't think we've really had a chance to. We probably kind of poked the bear a little bit. But what are we playing?
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll kick things off. Well, I'll kick things off. Right now, I'm not playing shit. What I typically play is Fortnite. That's right, over the shoulder. Goofy, and you know why I like it? It's hitting all my nostalgia buttons right now. It's the same reason I like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the same reason I love the trailer for Suicide Squad. There's a little bit of nostalgia in there for all of my little inner child needs, right? and I get to wear skins like Batman, or I get to be a New York Giant for a little bit, or whatever. Like it really hits all those for me. I don't like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that I get used. By the time I finally like get used to something like on the map, the season changes and a lot of the rules change. Now, there's a couple of seasons I've enjoyed recently. There was like a whole Water World season where the half the map was flooded, and that was all great because it was sharks and jaws and fun. This current season, it started off really strong with a super kind of with an interactive live event. I'm air quoting here because you can kind of pick it up whenever, and you went through a live event, which was cool. It kind of introduced the storyline a little bit further on this big mythos of Fortnite around the group called the Seven. But the downside was there was just so many new things for me to try to look at and understand and unlock and really dive in. But I got a 9 to 5. Plus, we're trying to film this show, and now I've got this baby coming in a couple of weeks. I don't really have a lot of time. So if I want to just get in there and mix it up, that's great. Like do a team rumble maybe and just blow some people's face off.
Yeah.
You know, sit in a bush a little bit and snipe because that's my style. I'm definitely not the professional Leon. I'm not using a knife and sneaking up behind people. I'm from a long way away. You never see me coming. And that's how I'll get my #1 victory royale. But I'm just being honest, man. And you can call me a whatever. You know what? You know how bad it is? Here's how bad it is, Dom. There's a common vernacular in Fortnite. Things like the word sweat. Hey, I got a big or a mini. They're talking about shield jugs and shit like that. Or there's just the way people talk about these different players. I don't know what that is. I can't build. You know why I can't build? Because I spend too much time trying to be really great at shooting people in the face from a long way away. I don't have to build if you're way over there. All I need to know is how to put up a wall, defend myself just for a little bit, move to another bush, and shoot you from, again, a long way away. So there's no real, like, I don't really hate being called a bunch of really mean names when I hear people talking shit. Whatever. I'm having a great time. But I just haven't had the time to play. It sucks. I think it's like week 6 or 7 into this season already, and I got to get on to watch some like PlayStation Grenade catch up. Another channel, not a sponsor, but that's where I'm at. How about you?
Nice. So Destiny, like I said, I play that pretty religiously still. PvP, PvE, whatever. There's a new season of that coming out May 11th, which is pretty cool. We'll get into this later because we're going to talk about Mortal Kombat, but I bought Mortal Kombat 11 because I watched the movie, and Mortal Kombat 11 is off the chain. I just beat the whole story this weekend, and I loved it. It was amazing. I don't know how they keep making that game so fun. That story hits, like, there's so much to that story, and you have all the cast of characters, and everybody's there from Sub-Zero and Scorpion and right into the newcomers like Scarlet, Kotal Khan, and all of that, which is really cool. And they have this really great story. And I played the crap out of that this weekend when I wasn't playing Destiny. Other than that, I kind of dabbled with the Marvel's Avengers game recently.
How'd that go?
By Square Enix. So I really like that game. It's hits the thing. What it does is it hits that Destiny itch for me, because it's that kind of go do missions with your friends and get a bunch of loot and upgrade your character.
Yeah.
The problem is like when that game launched, there were a ton of matchmaking problems, and there was a lot of dry content spells. We just got Hawkeye right before then. We got Kate Bishop, which is essentially just a clone of Hawkeye. And then they've announced Black Panther, the Black Panther expansion with Wakanda, and that's going to be really cool. And there's supposed to be this whole slew of characters coming out. Each character plays pretty uniquely, which is awesome. You have the original cast was Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, and Bruce Banner Hulk, Tony Stark Iron Man, Steve Rogers Cap, Black
Thor,
Widow,
right?
Natasha Romanoff, Thor. Yeah, and I think that was it. Yeah.
Speaking
Thor,
of
Cap.
Wakanda Forever, today marks, the time of this recording, not tomorrow, Tuesday the 27th, today, Monday the 26th, marks the 1-year anniversary of the passing of Chadwick Boseman. So, Wakanda Forever.
Also, the 2-year anniversary of Endgame, which is insane. I can't believe we've had this much happen.
To the day.
To the day. Yeah.
You just gave me chills. Man, it freaks me out that that's like coincides so kind of freakishly together.
I remember watching Endgame in theaters, and every beat of that movie, when Black Panther shows up at the end, when he walks out of the portal, when Cap picks up the hammer, like it's all of that just plays in my mind because of how psyched the audience was during that whole event. So
the audience, if it was anything like the one I was at, it was buzzing, right? I mean, you could feel the excitement. I mean, we were all in that room together. We all kind of knew it was happening. And then, I mean, he walks through the portal, and then everybody starts kind of showing up, and then you hear Bombay.
Yeah.
And then, dude, there was like 5 guys in front of me, and they got out of their seat, were grabbing the rail in front of them, and just kind of like screaming, like they were going full fucking bore. And the whole crowd is cheering every time they saw their favorite. Spider-Man comes flipping in. Yeah. Every teen girl, I mean, just started screaming. I mean, of course,
everybody loves Tom Holland.
Yeah, and then for me, it's like the Wasp shows up, who looks like my wife, and I'm like, woo! And everybody kind of gives me like a weird look. I'm like, what? You guys have your thing. I've got my thing. And so I remember that moment. And of course, what I really appreciated was that the whole room got deathly quiet when he calls back Mjolnir, and he's like, Avengers, assemble. Yeah. Of course, everybody erupts again. It was awesome. It was very much like, it's very rare for me to be in a movie theater where, the 200 plus people that were packed in that tiny little room, all without speaking to each other, had the same, like, we're going to honor this moment. Shut the fuck up. There's the line. And then we again re-upped in it,
right.
Cheers and tears and hoorays. But I digress.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So that's what I'm playing.
Nice.
Really, that's it.
So for Mortal Kombat 11, I had a question around the... Yeah, there was a lot of DLC content that I kept seeing come out for that, right? So you kept having, I think, like different players. Terminator was one of them. When you bought it just now, did all that DLC come with it, or did they force you to like?
It all came with it. So,
huh?
No, the Ultimate Edition was on sale for $29 on PlayStation Network, and I bought it, and it came with everything.
Oh, that's huge,
including Aftermath, which is the story deal, like a full other story campaign after the campaign.
I mean, again, how pissed would you be if you paid $200 or whatever for all those DLCs, and then here comes Dom with $30?
I've done that
of change. Like, what's up?
I've done that. So the game's a couple years old. I don't feel so bad buying it for $30. I would have never bought it had I not watched the movie this weekend.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair.
But no, it's good. Yeah, you're right. The cast of characters has grown immensely. I mean, you have Terminator, RoboCop, Rambo, Spawn are all like characters in it, which is insane.
That's awesome.
And it plays really well. It's so much fun. The story is so much fun. I'm going to start Aftermath this week, which is a story that revolves around Fujin, who's the god of wind, who first appeared in Mortal Kombat 4, and then Shang Tsung, and then Nightwolf, who's the Native American guy who took the spirit of animals and became them, which is really cool. So,
damn,
dope.
I just had flashbacks, man. Just had a shit ton of flashbacks of getting my ass kicked by the kids next door and across the street.
Yeah, I've always been bad at Mortal Kombat. I've always been terrible at.
I'm a button smasher with the best of them, dude. Just fucking. I don't know what I'm doing. Just back front. I know block.
Let's play Sub-Zero down forward
the other way. There it is. All right, let's see what's up next.
All right, what's next?
You know what's up next. Coming soon this week is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be our first comic book we've actually got, which we talk about comic book movies and shows. But how great is it? We finally get a comic book. I saw this. It came out today on a little Twitter drop. Evidently, there's going to be a precursor to the new The Conjuring movie, The Devil Made Me Do It. The Conjuring the Lover. I have almost no details about this. I mean, I really didn't have the bandwidth to even
look anything about it.
But bro, these comic covers, I love a good variant. Period. If I go to a store and I go, okay, oh man, there's one cover and it's all right, and then like right behind that for an extra $10 is like a dope looking variant cover. I'm scooping that variant cover. I don't care if it's a 1 of 20 or whatever. Like, just give it to me now. My favorite one out of these three is the VHS one in the middle, because I mean, shit. If there is an algorithm out there and it's just constantly scanning all Zoom meetings and listening in, and they're feeding just information to marketing companies, they're like, this guy loves to be reminded of his childhood. Put a Be Kind Rewind on anything and he'll fucking buy it.
Yeah.
Like it's, I really do love that. It's a little feeling of comfort, even though this girl's clearly in a shower of blood with demons about to get her. But I hope that it kind of paves a little bit more of a backstory for the action that takes place in most of the Conjuring films with the couple. Oh man, I'm gonna look this up.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Thank you,
dude.
So
I'm a Conjuring fanatic, dude. I love the Conjuring movies.
I'm gonna give a big shout out to the guys over at the podcast Terra Incognito. They do a great job of just checking out all these different movies and films, and I believe like the Nun is a part of that same universe. I went to Michelle and I went to the opening week of the Nun to see that with that podcast. That movie, it wasn't that bad, wasn't that scary for me. Michelle slept right through it, but she always falls asleep in the theater. It's just so comfy and dark, right? But I love this whole ecosystem, but I cannot watch Annabelle. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I grew up with sisters, creepy. Those freaking dolls in their rooms. I had Child's Play already. I'm not doubling down on it with Annabelle. You're not going to convince me to do it.
I don't do killer dolls.
But I'll watch some creepy nuns. I'll watch some ghouly,
cool.
creepy things. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm interested to read this. I love the Conjuring universe. You know, Ed and Lorraine Warren, Vera Farmiga, and Patrick Wilson. I think.
The guy.
Actors.
Yeah.
He's Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga.
What was
Lynch in the A-Team? That's like the only other thing I know him from.
Oh, you got another one. He was in Aquaman. He was.
Oh, that's right, Orm. Yeah, Ocean Master.
He's Orm. Ocean Master.
Yes. Yeah,
it's completely. It's so upside down for me to think of that guy, and then he's Orm in Aquaman. You're like, but he was such a. Yeah, he's. Insane. We're going to talk about this a little later, but he's one of those actors like. You despised Orm because he really sold the like self-righteous bullshit prick. And that's why you didn't like him.
He sells that really well.
And there's a few actors that do that, but I'm gonna wait for that joke and that pun a little later with something else we're discussing in this video. Yeah. You know where I'm going with it. He's got a real good punchable face.
Oh, I know.
And we're gonna let what's that, Mahaffey? Wait your turn. We'll talk about it in a minute. All right, thanks, buddy. But next on our list is actually just the follow-up. So this actually is just really talking about it. It comes out June 4th, coming on HBO Max. Again, this kind of falls in this for Joystick Maverick, right? The first part, Joystick. Video games, makes perfect fucking sense. The Maverick part, we can do whatever we want. Maverick don't give a shit.
That's
Guess what he does? He said rules, too bad. I'm gonna fly up and down and around those rules. Oh, how did you do that? Well, I was inverted. You know what I'm saying? We don't give a shit. But because there was a comic book that leads up to this movie, and there's a nerdcore fandom, it falls in line here. To me, this is kind of, we're going to make it. I like it. You like it. It's on the fucking show. You don't like it. Please,
I'm stoked about
please
this.
Keep watching.
This movie looks cool.
You have to. You have to keep watching. It does look good. It evidently based on a true story. Aren't they all? I mean, I could say everything's based on a true story.
No, this is legit based on a true story.
Really?
So this one specifically, I know that the other ones are too. The first one and the second one were based on legit true stories. This one, I actually just read about this recently, about this guy who was like, I think it was the Crime Junkie podcast with Ashley Flowers and Britt. They talked about this case where this guy was like out to lunch with his sister and his sister's boss, and his sister's boss is like a dirtbag, and like the guy snapped and just killed him, like, and then like came out of a trance and didn't remember it. it like really sparked the demonic possession was the cause of it, and it's an interesting read if you read about it. I've read about all of their cases. I mean, Ed and Lorraine Warren are most famous for the Amityville horror. They
there
went
you
to the
go.
house in Amityville.
Okay.
So there is a legit case based on this. I can't remember the guy's name. You should look it up. I'm fairly certain they did a Crime Junkie podcast about it. I also think it was covered on the Morbid podcast as well. So it's a very interesting read about this case.
See the true story. In the trailer, we see these two people. Okay, so I guess it's about Arn Johnson, as he's in court with the murder of his landlord due to being possessed by the devil. You know, it's funny to me. I say funny because, like, in my mind, it's like it's the devil, right? Top guy. If he's gonna possess people, why does he choose assholes? Like I mean, Hitler, maybe, right? Like
we can talk about. We could get into this for days.
But I digress. That's gonna be another podcast. Follow us on Joystick the Occult. Right. Moving right along, then. This next one, I'm excited about it. I love the behind the scenes stuff. I've always been interested in movie magic. It doesn't necessarily ruin it for me. My mom, even as my mom as a kid, used to get these magazines that would show behind the scenes and how things were made on like the Ghoulie movies. So, they use corn syrup for blood and stuff like that. So it kind of, I think it's a hereditary disease that I have where I love just behind the scenes and seeing how the movie is constructed, how shots are made. Was it live action? Was it CGI? Like even in this scene, he's got, the arm sleeve on. So it's not like a green strip on his arm in this particular moment. But like, I really want to see how they, took what is basically the silver screen approach to a 6-episode series, and really kind of maintain that, holistic world-class quality versus like, WandaVision definitely had a little more kid-centric approach. Obviously you get to play with a lot with the music and stuff like that. I think we've discussed that previously, but this is a long-form movie approach to like a Captain America movie, right? So I just want to see how that works.
Right.
And that should be coming up this Friday.
I like seeing this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
they do this
again.
For WandaVision too.
They sure did. This is actually episode 2 of the Marvel Studios assembled. So they did it for WandaVision. It was the week after WandaVision ended. And then the week after that episode, we kicked off the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, aka now Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Spoiler alerts. Spoiler. And then so they're going to have this episode this week, and then that jumps again into another series or movie. So for us, it's going to be Loki coming on, I believe, May 6th. Is that Loki correct? No. It's Loki, right?
Loki was in June. I think the next one is Black
6th.
Widow.
Is it?
I think the next thing is Black Widow, and then it's Loki after. But
dang,
actually, I think the next thing that they're doing, because it's all this Disney Plus thing.
Yeah,
we get Bad Batch next week.
Yeah,
the Star Wars
show. Gonna be good.
So I think they're doing it, but they're not doing all Marvel. So they don't want to compete with that. But
that's right. Star Wars Day, May 4th. I can't wait, man. This is gonna be good.
4th next week.
So that'll be a good little kind of break from the Marvel universe. I think a lot of our content thus far has been a little Marvel centric. We've always got something Marvel going on, which is fine. But let's change it up a little bit.
It's still gonna keep happening.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's still gonna be Disney. They just got my money every freaking time. But hey, whatever. I'll take it. So this is a great time.
We got sponsors.
No, we don't. We don't have Again, no sponsors. That's all right. That's okay. If you want to be a sponsor, hey, you want to try it out? We would love to just build a generic relationship with you. You don't even have to pay us. We just want to have practice, again, at reading a 30-second prompt. You want to sell back knee cream? We'll sell it. You want to sell, mothballs? We don't have a demographic to speak of yet, so it'll go to anybody. Just give us a call. But now it's time for our favorite final round. This week's final round is a two-parter.
go.
We start off with, we already mentioned it, we're going to start off with the big one, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Dude, this
look at
episode,
that suit, dude. Look at that suit.
It's almost comic book accurate. I mean, it's the color scheme, even the wing jetpack grips on the front, the white mask, the red goggles. It's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, how did the episode start off? They just hell yeah, man. And I think it's been a really good culmination. The last episode ended with the case opening up. We didn't get to see what was inside the case. I'm happy that this episode didn't dick around. The very first thing that happens, you start getting really into the trouble of all these people are at whatever the UN type building is. The GRC is having their meeting. They're going to make some vote and deport some people back to wherever they were supposed to be, not from, or whatever it is. And all of a sudden, what happens? The Flag Smashers, they infiltrate and they start trying to move people out and put them in the trucks, but not quite yet. Here comes streaming through the glass is our guy. Now
Sammy
the official.
Wilson.
Yeah, Sam Wilson is now Captain America. And what I love, I watch it with subtitles just in case I miss some like offhanded comment. Even the subtitles immediately changed. It didn't say Falcon or Sam Wilson. It said Captain America, whatever was talking. Yeah. I was like, fuck, yes, that's right. So they didn't make us wait halfway to the episode. It was right from the jump. The whole episode was off the rails. It was great from start to end.
I loved it. It's so good. And the fact that they announced Captain America 4 right after it with Sam Wilson at the head. And then you have so many good moments in this. I mean, the entire character transformation of Bucky, going from Bucky to the Winter Soldier to the White Wolf back to Bucky, and his relationship with Sam. It was so good. I loved this show. I thought it was so well done. The big reveal was Sharon Carter being the power broker. My wife hated that because she a fan of the actress? Because she loves Carter. She's a fan of Peggy Carter. Like, she's a huge fan of Agent Carter, the show. And to have like Sharon Carter be essentially a villain coming up after she gets a full pardon, which is pretty.
It makes you wonder, though.
I'm stoked to see where that goes.
I mean, all right. So she gets. I mean, we can go through all the little quick spoilers, right? So my theory is she might not be Sharon Carter. A little bit, maybe. You know how Marvel is. There's always something. Except for WandaVision, all of our theories were complete nothing. There's no Mephisto, no Sinister.
They were
whatever.
all bad.
Yeah. Well, she gets shot in the abdomen, no Magneto, no real problems, right? And then Carly gets shot in the abdomen, dies. Same wound. Super Soldier dies.
And she has a Super Soldier seizure. Yeah.
But was she dumb? Maybe she's a Skrull.
Could be. We have Secret Invasion coming up, so
maybe she's a Skrull. So I mean that's one of those things. I really liked a couple of things. Obviously, we've got the fight between Sam, aka now Captain America, and Carly. That whole fight where he's not fighting her back, he's using the suit, he's using the shield. Even just the way they kind of made up ways for him to use the wings and the shield together. Him basically blocking her shot because she's so strong, using the wings as anchors. Him blocking or deflecting, like I think it was like a car or something like that coming at him, or no, I think it was the helicopter bouncing off of the shield and the wings when he fell on this bridge and made like a complete dome around the person he was carrying. So that was cool. We got to see obviously freaking what's his face, John Walker, aka the new U.S. agent, show up with his like trash can lid shield. Is like Medal of Honor on the inside, you know, and this is my point. I think I mentioned earlier, which was there are certain actors that when they do a great job, you just fucking hate that character, and then you fucking hate that actor. The guy who played Joffrey in Game of Thrones,
who quit acting because of it. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The actress who plays Professor Jane Umbridge in Harry Potter. We all hated that actress because she did such a good job of being that pink professor. And then this would be another great example of just despising that Wyatt Russell for that. I actually really like Wyatt Russell. I mean, he was in 22 Jump Street. He was in a Black Mirror episode. He did a great job in that. But him showing up and like just being a complete dickhead, it reminded me of Jessica Jones, where instead of being like Jessica, he shows up and he's like, what's her last name? Carly's like Moreau or something. Moreau,
Morgenthau.
Like, Morgenthau. That's it. And it's like, shut up, dude. Yeah. It's like, hey, here's my flimsy shield, and they just start to beat the shit out of him, and it's so great.
Yeah.
Of course, Bucky saves the day, but I did appreciate the fact that there was a moment where, like, we understand the fact that the serum brings out, it just amplifies who you are as a person. Now we just know he's got some anger issues. But at the end of the day, he is kind of a good person, right. And he's trying to do his best Chris Evans impression with holding that truck from falling off the scaffolding down on the ground. He just can't quite do it, Instead, of course, it's our new guy, Captain America, Sam Wilson, saving the day with two little Red Wings pushing that truck back up. But
right.
This whole episode was jam-packed with goodness. My one thing that I don't think your common fan is going to notice, this guy in the bottom left-hand corner here, Joaquin Torres, eventually becomes Falcon. If we remember, He actually got the old wings and jetpack, not the new jazz from Wakanda. And then, of course, we've got our guy Patriot, aka Isaiah Bradley's son, Eli Bradley, or not grandson, Eli Bradley. Isaiah Bradley, yeah.
Eli.
And his grandson is Eli, right?
Yep, Eli Bradley.
So we could have, in theory, this show could go from the Falcon Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, then Bucky has an arc next season, then it becomes Captain America and the White Wolf, and then it could go back to the Falcon and the Patriot. We could start seeing, more seasons of the show kind of continue on and keep little bits of the Marvelverse kind of growing, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited as to where this goes. We're starting to get that drip feed of the next Marvel phase of movies and media with WandaVision, with this. Then we have Black Widow coming up, which, again, no one really knows that timeline of where that takes place. But then we got the Shang-Chi trailer. The Eternals is back in the news because Chloe Zhao won a couple of Oscars last night for Nomadland. And she's directing Eternals. So I'm stoked. I love this. I love the cookout scene at the end of this episode with Bucky just showing up to the cookout. It's really cool.
I know, man. I love it. I love that he is constantly, not necessarily constantly, but he's always overly nice to Sarah, which is, to me,
it's right.
It seems genuine. It's not like a jab at Sam, I think he's just not like a dickhead to women in general. I think he's like, I know I look like this. It's like Idris Elba in The Office, where he's like, I'm aware of the effect I have on women. Like that is that is what's happened. I got to give credit where credit's due. Listen to a little bit of the podcast, Your Mom's Basement from Barstool, and Robbie Fox pointed out actually that in the book at the end of the episode, where all the names are checked off of Bucky's little hit list book, because he goes to Yuri, he tells Yuri, I'm the guy who killed your son. It wasn't me, but it was me, or whatever. And they kind of cut real hard. Then after that, all the names are crossed out. But I guess one of the names in there is actually the real life name of Sebastian Stan's best friend. So he got to slip in a little bit of extra, and it's like, what? When you get to the point where you have a little bit of control over a prop piece and you've got the option, yeah, man, I'm going to throw in some nods to my boys. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, you're the winter fucking soldier. What are you going to do?
Heck yeah.
You going to fight me?
Let's give it up for Sebastian Stan, though. Coming from the Covenant. My man was in the Covenant. Twilight for Witches. Yeah, he was the bad guy in the Covenant. He was in the Twilight movie for Witches.
If you haven't seen the Covenant, take some time. Go find it on whatever service or yard sale that you can. Go to the bay, fish it out of the water. It was to me. It's great, especially because it's got the other guy from The Expanse. It's the whole movie. It's just cheesy, goofy teen witchery shit, but it's such a goofy storyline. And like, what's his face from John Carter? He's one of the witches in that movie, right? So
yeah, Taylor, not Taylor Lautner. That's the guy from Twilight.
that's the guy from Twilight.
Taylor Kitsch.
That's it, Taylor Kitsch. Yeah,
I
so
think it's Taylor Kitsch.
it's
Yeah.
like I would just
from
be upset.
That terrible Wolverine movie.
Oh God, yeah. I would just be pissed off at if I were the other two actors in the Covenant. They didn't do shit. Hopefully, they're like doing something epic. Like it's the great example is like, okay, what happened to the two guys from Weird Science? One guy went on to be Michael C. Hall and did great things. The other guy, did we ever hear what happened to him? Yeah, he's a professor at Texas A&M. Still, touching lives, just in a different way. But hopefully those guys are doing all right too. All right, next, the final round.
So you're talking about cheesy movies.
I'm talking about the cheesy. You know what? I love this cheesy movie. It's my favorite. It's my favorite cheesy movie.
I loved this movie.
I had a blast.
I got a lot of flack for loving it. I loved this movie. It was so much fun to watch.
Dude, it's great.
Horrible acting through and through.
That's
terrible
the best
plot
part.
Points. There was no Mortal Kombat in Mortal Kombat, but everything about this movie.
It didn't have to have like a gong to start a match. Nothing about that. There wasn't like an NCAA bracket we needed to be aware of. Like it was just, I guess the tournament counts if we have everybody on the bad guy side fight at least one person on the good guy side. That the rules are bullshit of the Mortal Kombat in this movie, but I don't think it really mattered to anybody. I will say the only person I couldn't stand, and this sucks, which is probably why he's not on this cover image, was Raiden. I didn't like it. I mean, granted, I understand. We had a white man play Lord Raiden in the first two Mortal Kombat movies.
No, we didn't have just one white man. We had two different white men play Raiden. Christopher Lambert played the first Raiden, and then the dude from Dexter played the second Raiden. Dexter's dad played the second Raiden.
I mean, again, I get it. I'm glad we gave him the role. However, it just fell kind of flat for me. I mean, he was great.
I didn't like the portrayal of Raiden.
What was the movie I just saw him in? It was a World War II film. He did a great job in that film, but he didn't quite have that same like swagger I was expecting from Raiden, because of the Christopher Lambert. But it was fine. It was fine.
The first 7 minutes of this movie make it seem like a completely different movie than the next hour and 40 minutes. Like the first 7 minutes of this movie are very well shot, very well acted. Hiroyuki Sanada is an exceptional actor. I love him in everything that he is. The guy who plays Hanzo Hasashi.
Yeah, he was great in Westworld, right? I mean, just beast.
Yeah, Louis Tam plays Bihan Sub-Zero. And like you get this like really great opening scene, and then it's like, man, they just kicked up the terrible acting a whole lot.
It makes you wonder how much that first scene cost.
That was what they're saying. They're like, it sounds like this first scene was made by a completely different director than the rest of the movie. But it really was a lot of fun to watch. I thought Scorpion and Sub-Zero were done exceptionally well. The last fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, where you get over here from Scorpion when he comes back as a Revenant, and then Kano was like the show stealer, being hilarious.
Oh yeah, his one-liners and quips. He so definitely made that whole little good team. He was the breadwinner for me as far as putting that team into like, okay, I want them to kind of win. Him just being a constant like silver-tongued dickhead, fantastic. Yeah, and then him like understanding really immediately, I'm gonna get powers. Oh great, just all the fucking laser beams. Like he was fantastic. that you're right. He nailed it. But I mean, for me personally, Jax, that actor from True Blood and
Macabre Brooks, yeah.
AKA also Jimmy Olsen and Supergirl.
Yep, Jimmy Olsen.
I wish his superpower wasn't like getting little like my strong hands turn into like my real big strong hands. And then like Sonya Blade, okay, we get it now. She's got knives. Sonya Blade, get it? And then I mean, even the guy in the back there with his like Black Panther armor, like I'm taking in kinetic energy.
Plot armor, like he's essentially which is I didn't hate Cole Young. They tried to make it that he was the descendant of Hanzo Hasashi to be this big reveal, but they immediately cut to him after the beginning part. It was 100% obvious that he was a descendant of Hasashi.
He's having like fever glimpses while washing his face. Like, dude, he's right there. He's in the mirror. Did you see him? Like, how do you not go, this is weird, guys. Are you guys having flashes of a scary guy in the mirror? Like, he's the kind of guy who like figured out that like masturbating felt good and like didn't want to tell anybody about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, thanks, bud. Like, you just don't want to share. You're not a sharer. The actor who voiced Cabal, awesome. Yeah, he was like Cabal, the equivalent of like Kano's little, which makes perfect sense why they'd be buds, you know, like or like would have met up in a previous life. And then homegirl with the Raphael size, like she was okay.
Melina. Yeah, Katana's sister. And then we have like Natara. Goro was in it. I really liked the CG for Goro, even though
Prince Goro looked good.
Even though he got punked by Cole Young.
I mean, it was better than just getting like punched in the dick in like the first film, right?
Johnny Cage punched him in the dick. It's so good. The Shang Tsung actor's dope. He was in The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Big accountant.
I liked him. Big accountant. I'm very good with calculations.
And evidently sorcery. It's like a whole thing for him. I definitely enjoyed the whole movie. And then what I liked for me was like, I remember that when Scorpion finally got the fatality to rip off his face, it was a skull, and then all of a sudden flames would just come out and roast your opponent. Fatality. Yeah. I like to kind of explain that a little bit. Like, I was like, I don't know, is that really what the storyline was? I was like, fuck it. If it wasn't, it was still cool, you know, fine.
Oh, no, it totally was. Scorpion, so they changed a whole bunch of stuff. Bihan wasn't actually the one that killed Scorpion's family in the actual lore. I'm fairly certain it's Quan Chi, who is another sorcerer from the Nether Realm. And Quan Chi essentially tricks Scorpion into thinking it was Bihan. And Scorpion becomes a revenant because of his vengeance and controls the Hellfire, and that's why he's essentially immortal, and that's why he controls all that. That Bihan becomes Noob Sabat, which they alluded to already in this movie, which is really cool.
I love Noob Sabat in the game.
The Sub-Zero that we all know is Kuai Liang. Again, I know everything about Mortal Kombat now. I played this game and all I did was read about Mortal Kombat all weekend.
You know what I know about Noob Sabat? He was the guy that had all of the black outfit. I was like, oh, sweet. Yeah. This goth kid loves this character. Let's fucking play this guy.
Which, you know, Noob Sabat backwards is Tobias and Boone, right? And that it's Ed Boon and Tobias who created Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's Noob Sabat.
See? Again, you're going to put your best friend's name in Bucky's little book, and then you're going to put your own freaking name in the game. Why wouldn't you do that? It's the Easter eggs I love.
I thought they really set this up. Apparently, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying that this was set up to be a trilogy of movies, which makes a whole lot of sense, based on kind of the logical closing point that this ended at, with Shang Tsung kind of declaring that he's coming back with an army, and that you have him taking the bodies of Bihan and Goro, which probably alludes to the fact that Bihan is going to come back as Noob, and Goro may come back as a Revenant or something. There's so much to it. I mean, there were so many little things. Katana's fan is in it a whole lot in Raiden's temple. That blue fan, the jewel that amulet that Kano steals.
Yeah.
Is an amulet, like a super powerful amulet from the game. I think it's Shinnok's, who's another Elder God. His amulet. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked about it. I like this movie so much more than Godzilla vs. Kong.
Dude, this is a great little fun fact. As of today, full 3 days worth of stats. This movie actually had more views in the first 3 days than the first 5 days of Godzilla vs. Kong. Nice. So already this is huge. I mean, the actor who plays Sub-Zero behind, I think I saw correctly, he was signed on for 4 more films.
So I'm stoked, dude. I loved him as Bihan. He's great. Do you know he's in The Raid? Did you ever watch The Raid with I can't remember the guy's name.
I haven't. I've seen and I've heard. I mean, it's to me it hits up there with like Old Boy is like the movies I need.
Yeah, it's very much like
that genre of like, okay, this is dope. It's fast. The choreography's there.
I can't remember the guy's name now. That is in The Raid, but he's also in The Raid. It's really good. Did you know that the guy who plays Liu Kang is the Black Power Ranger from the new Power Ranger movie? I had no idea.
What?
Yeah, it's the Black Power Ranger, Zach from the new Power Rangers movie with that kid from Stranger Things.
Holy shit! I watched that, and it didn't dawn on me. Michelle has great faces, and it didn't click for us at all.
Yeah, they did my boy Liu Kang kind of dirty in this movie, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, if you let's be honest, the first Liu Kang, awesome.
The first Liu Kang, Robin Chow, that's the dude. I also love, it's Carrie something, the guy who plays the first Shang Tsung, who actually came back as Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat 11.
The guy whose face is always like this.
Yeah, your soul is mine.
Your soul is mine.
Yeah. I watched the original Mortal Kombat before this movie, and that movie, does not hold up very well at all.
I bet it doesn't. I bet it doesn't.
Christopher Lambert is laughable as Raiden. Scorpion is actually voiced by, I think they just took lines from the game, the first Mortal Kombat, because all he says is "come here" and "get over here."
Get over here. It made me wonder, like this flawless victory, like that when he suddenly just pulls the hat over and it turns into like a band song. I was like, this is straight out of the game. This is rides her face right into it. Like it's that took me out of the movie. I loved it, but like you pulled me right out. I just like
when Liu Kang says fatality after killing Cabal with the fire dragon. I was like, it takes me out of the movie.
I'm like, man, like it's a little shit like that kind of irks me a little bit, but at the same time, it's like I'm not watching a Mortal Kombat movie for an incredible storyline.
No,
and I think they did a good job of at least having fun and doing what they're doing. Like if you look at this set here, there's all these people in the background, but like you could tell, like this guy wasn't even in the scene. The guy who played, oh my god, not Liu Kang, but his cousin, Kung Lao. He wasn't even in this scene. He's just on set, so they're just hanging out, like just chilling for the day. And this is in the background. You can see the octagon cage there. So this is like it must have been one of the more final days of shooting. So I'm going to show up. I even love. The guy who plays Scorpion, his face right there. He's all ghosted up makeup wise, just like
he's really good. I liked him in I think he's in The Last Samurai.
Oh yeah. He plays opposite Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he's in Endgame, Avengers Endgame for like a scene. He's the one that fights Hawkeye.
Oh no shit.
In Tokyo. Yeah.
Well, that's what I think we talked about that too, where we might be seeing him back again with a little bit of the 10 rings and all that.
Yeah, that would be super sweet.
And Shang-Chi.
Because we're supposed to get that this year too, Hawkeye, the show, with Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah. I wonder if there will be any kind of like singing a cappella call-outs. Or just random.
I love Pitch Perfect. I love
it. Makes two of us, man. Mahaffey, do you love Pitch Perfect? Yeah, totally, guys. I love Pitch Perfect. You sound a little different today, Mahaffey. But no, it's funny. I when I was watching this, it made me think of the first Mortal Kombat, and then of course I think of the first Street Fighter with Raul Julia, freaking Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I have that whole speech memorized. The whole Jean-Claude Van Damme speech when he's like, when the guy comes up and he's like, "You guys got to go home," and he's like, "Troopers." The war's been canceled. You can all go home. Dude, I have the whole speech. So good. My favorite shit.
That is some random shit to ever.
I don't know why. I know all the words to that speech.
You were like 1994 when this came out. You're like, this is going to be important for me to remember.
I watched the shit out of that movie. And I love it.
I got to remember. And it didn't
I don't know
even
why
dawn
I
on
know
me
so
that,
much of that movie.
dude, Ming Na Wen.
Ming Na Wen plays Chun Li, dude.
Yeah, man. And now, like, then fast forward, 20 plus years, and then she's in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., still kicking that ass.
Yeah,
looking great.
I always thought that Dave Coulier played Ken, but it wasn't Dave Coulier. It was a dude who kind of looked like Dave Coulier.
Yeah, close though.
Yeah.
So, I guess the one question I wanted to ask you specifically about Mortal Kombat, my ADD is run its fucking course. Who do you think they should cast as Johnny Cage?
Oh man, so I read a lot about Johnny Cage because they're talking about the reason why Johnny Cage wasn't in this movie is because they couldn't afford to cast anybody big. Because this movie,
so they're gonna get a real movie star. They're gonna a real movie star to be Johnny Cage.
I saw
Tom Cruise is Johnny Cage. I'll shit myself.
I saw a picture of Chris Pratt as Johnny Cage, and I was like, I could dig Chris Pratt as Johnny Cage.
That ain't bad. He's got this. I think he could turn that vibe on. Real good.
Oh yeah, he for sure can. It's kind of like half Andy, half Star-Lord.
Yeah,
like he totally could do that.
Sunglasses the whole time.
I never liked Johnny Cage as a character. I was like I never bought into the Johnny Cage hype. I think Chris Pratt could do it. I think that if they were trying to cast someone younger, you could get like Zac Efron to play Johnny Cage because he has that same kind of swagger.
True.
Especially from like Neighbors.
I'm curious though. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Zac Efron recently. He was in the news. This is going to be a tangent. He had something done, man. His face is somehow wider.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if he's going to be making the cut. I think he might explode if anybody hits him in the face. So,
yeah, I think I am standing by Chris Pratt. I think Chris Pratt could be a pretty cool Johnny Cage. I don't think he will be Johnny Cage, but
no. If I hope this movie made some money. I don't really know. With the HBO Max deal, I don't really know if that is even possible.
Yeah.
But we're getting out of this COVID world. We're going back to like the theaters. Eventually, maybe part 2 would come out. People would want to go see it. But I'm just trying. I'm running short on people besides like Chris Pratt, who would kind of fill that role, or like a Matt Bomer, or like, you know what I'm saying?
Matt Bomer would be good. Johnny Cage. I like Matt Bomer's Johnny Cage.
Dye his hair a little bit, throw some highlights in it. All of a sudden, we're Daniel Craig. It's like a random old Johnny Cage. See,
I'd be more interested on like who they cast.
Channing Tatum.
Oh yeah, like Channing Tatum would totally play Johnny Cage. Like I want more of this. I want more Mortal Kombat now. I would watch 9 of these movies like Fast and the Furious and go see every single one in the theaters.
My only hope is that they continue to not take themselves so seriously. You can tell again they had fun. Keep that vibe. Even with this weird like John Goodman looking dude in the back right hand corner here of this photo. Like
he does look like John Goodman. It's distracting.
It's weird. And he's staring right at me.
I keep drifting to him. I keep drifting toward him.
But no, this is definitely positive vibes for me. So if we can get another one, sign me up, coach. I want 2 more.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got this week.
It, yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Happy episode 5.
Yep.
We did it. Mahaffey, you got any closing statements? All right, man. We got to end the show. Okay, cool.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. That's it for me, man. I'm Ernie Hawkins, aka Ernie UXD on social.
I'm Dominic Irvin, aka El Dizza on social.
Thank you for commenting, liking, subscribing. Hit the bell on YouTube. Leave us comments. Talk trash. People are already doing it. Happy. He's already putting comments in there. I look forward to talking to you guys next week. And Dom, look forward to seeing you as always. Same bat time,
Awesome.
same bat channel.
Take it easy.
Later, guys.